Jae-won is shopping for lunch, while the government is on TV asking people not to go out because of mysterious earthquakes. He looks out the window and sees something thick and long coming out of the ground through the asphalt. It's a huge tower, and the store is being covered with earth and debris. Such flat Pisa towers are appearing all over the world, and people are puzzled and investigating what they are. They called them the Tower of Nightmares. Along with these towers, some people began to receive notifications that they had been chosen as walkers, heroes who would save the world. If a person accepted this challenge, he or she was moved to the tower and given initial ammunition. Everything was fine until monsters of all kinds began to emerge from these towers and start giving ordinary people nightmares. The army was powerless, as it always is, and so a third of the population was banned by the monsters forever. People inside the towers could no longer go outside and help people in any way. The only option for them was to go through the tower. On one of the walkers found the Stone of Return, an artifact that allows you to return to the past. The captain of the walkers immediately wanted to test the stone, but the man simply disappeared. Even though his faithful companions were waiting for him, nothing changed around him. No one could understand how the stone worked. Then the lightning struck the towers and monsters came out again to kill all the people. It became increasingly difficult to pass in the towers. Many people gave up and activated the return stones, because the unknown was better than an eternal ban. However, not everyone was so weak. There were people in the tower who formed a group and bravely bore the burden of survival of all mankind. They bravely and together fought the monsters and defeated them, but on the 98th level, their line fell like viburnum in the cold. Jae-won was left alone, and he was barely holding his own against the boss of the level. It seemed like there was no hope that he would survive, but suddenly Hwan's friend helped him avoid the inevitable end and cut the monster. This is not enough, and the monster responds by adding an extra hole to the savior's body, causing him to fall down without strength. Now it's Jae-won's turn to save his friend, and with the last of his strength he picks up his sword and finishes off the boss. There is only one more thing to do. Hwan goes to the next level where Winter meets him. He goes on, and an ice worm appears on his way, not averse to tasting the boy's meat. However, Jae skillfully runs away from them without giving them a chance to take a bite. This is the boss of the 99th level, the ice dragon Valisis. And he has been playing hide and seek with a guy who is good at hiding for a long time. The boy comes right out to meet the dragon, and the dragon recognizes that this man is unbeatable because no one has ever managed to get here alone. The monster is about to attack, but the warrior holds it back right in the throat, and in a moment the walker falls to the ground, unable to get up because his right arm and leg are chained in ice. The monster is jubilant, sad to admit that after the human is banned, he will be bored again, because apparently no one else enters the tower. The people outside have completely disappeared. Gathering the remnants of all his strength, Hwang attacks it with his strongest skill, a lunge, and finally wounds the dragon. The dragon, in turn, is somewhat surprised and shows his full size, flying above the ground and preparing to attack again. Unlike Wang Pisu, we are not tormented with expectations to see the winner, but only told that after 5 years, Jae-won still managed to defeat the boss of the level. For this, he gets a new sword to fight on the top level of the tower. He walks through the door, leading to the 100th level, and is surprised to find a room full of monitors showing all of the tower. Suddenly, a voice makes him remember why he is here, but the stranger suggests that the guest relax because he did not have time to prepare for the arrival of a person. He receives a message, congratulating him on being the first in the tower to receive some kind of training. From the word training, Jae recalls all those who were banned on the way here. Finally, a fashionable black lion in a suit comes out to him and congratulates him on his title. He did not expect that at least one person would be able to pass the tower's tests. The lion expected that the boy would be filled with various emotions from the experience, but he did not raise an eyebrow, which surprised the monster. This lion is Devil Bistron, and he is the owner of the Tower of Nightmares. Hwang quickly realized that if this was just a training session, he was in for a real game. The lion is in no hurry to tell the details. First, he shows the boy's entire journey from the side, from the moment he first entered the tower, and states that he will never see the faces of those with whom he started. The devil will allow the man to go through the tower from the beginning, knowing in advance what awaits him. From the very beginning, humanity had no chance to stand against these creatures. The salvation of humanity was one of the deceptions of this demon. Jae-won reminds the monster that he's not going to go back in time, which makes him laugh with his mouth agape. The devil explains that there is no object or phenomenon in the world that is so powerful that it can travel through time. Unfortunately, the Stone of Return that the walkers found in the tower does not return people to the past, but only locks them in demonic dreams. That is, all those who use this stone are stuck in an endless sleep. And again, an interesting point that the man realized is that all this time he has been in a dream, and in this dream he has been passing a test after which the real game will begin. He does not believe the monster and refuses to continue, and wants to kill the boss and move on. Then the monster reveals that everything that happened to them is not true. Everyone Jay knows is alive and continues to live a normal life. And those in the tower are in the hospital in a coma-like state. More than 10 years have passed in the tower, while in the real world, no more than a month. For more than 100 days, the warrior has been trying to defeat the devil, but without success. The devil does not attack back because he considers the man a valuable product. The boss is ready to give the guy everything he wants, skills, items, things, anything to start playing the real game, but he just wants to defeat the monster and move on. Finally, they manage to sit down at the negotiating table and start talking. The demon tells them that there is a main dimension in the universe, the almighty Earth, and that many similar ones have come from it. On the planet J, the tower trained warriors so that they could get to another dimension. Those who pass the game will go to the Big Land and receive the support of the monks, the creators of the Big Land, who have passed the game. The devil still managed to persuade the hero to join the game. He agreed to start in 10 days. During these 10 days, the man trains without rest, and when he comes to the lion again, he tries to overcome it. But the devil grabs the warrior, and he in turn surprises the monster by telling information that the man could not know. The lion is very surprised that such a weak creature knows this information. Before he can recover from his surprise, Huang breaks free and strikes again, this time managing to hurt his boss, which makes him even more surprised. The devil removes his power limits and prepares to fight at full strength, and immediately inflicts a series of high-speed cuts on the man. However, this only empowered Jay, and he was able to defeat the monster with his super punch and told him that he would not follow his plan. His real goal now is to destroy the world built by such devils and monarchs. He takes the sword he received on the level with the ice dragon and breaks through the ceiling of the tower, after which he finds himself in the jungle. Here he fights with different creatures again, and then he comes across monsters that look like people. He helps them fight off the monsters, while the girl is wary of the stranger. The cat girl can't view his information, which makes her angry, so she decides to ask him directly about where he came from. Recalling everything he had gone through and achieved, Jay decided not to tell strangers from another dimension about himself, and therefore said that he had lost his memory. But this pretty kitty is not so easily deceived, and so the warrior takes out his huge sword, which surprises everyone around him. The cat has a cunning idea and offers Huang a deal. Her name is Mino, and she tells the man everything she knows about Chaos and her team from the Fox clan. Suddenly, it gets dark, and they have to spend the night under a tree. While the man is resting, the Fox clan members talk about him and plan to take away his weapons and ban him. They could not stand it and immediately ran to Huang. Mino warns him of the danger, but he is in no hurry to prepare for the battle. It turns out that one of the foxes asked the boy to see the sword so that he would not be able to resist the attackers. They mock the man and the fox and attack them. However, Mino is not as simple as they thought. She easily dealt with several enemies. The fox leader is furious and threatens the girl, but she just laughs. Something bad has happened between them, and now they can barely stop themselves from tearing each other's throats out. The thief pulls out the sword he took from Huang and repels Mina's attack. The bandits have a numerical advantage, so they think they have already won, and the head of the Red Fox clan joins them. The girl prepares for a difficult battle against a superior enemy. She gives the warrior a stone to run away with, because she is not sure she can protect him, but he is not going to just leave. He pulls out his other sword and lunges. Almost instantly, he annihilates 10 beastmen and approaches their leader, but even he cannot resist the blow of the human sword and falls to pieces. Hoping for mercy, the beastman gives the boy the sword with which Wang finishes off the other attackers. At the same time, Mina watches with her mouth agape as the man punishes the villains. After the couple has dealt with the Red Fox clan, they calmly walk away. They arrive at the Gorgon's fortress, where they see a terrible picture. Countless people suddenly appeared and began to scream with inexplicable terror. That's how the players get to the land of chaos. All of these warriors were annihilated on the almighty Earth, and therefore ended up here. The locals call this place the realm of the dead, and if you annihilate here, you will become fertilizer for the trees. Authorized representatives from the fortress come out to the poor and trapped players and dress the poor players. To enter the fortress, you need a special pass to verify your identity, and unfortunately the witch with a bad reputation didn't have one, not to mention the guy from the Tower of Nightmares. However, the guard managed to bribe the girl with valuable material that fell from the monster. The girl is let through, but the boy is not. Huang has already reached into his bag for some unknown reason. When they are approached by the most famous captain of the checkpoint in these parts, he goes to the boy and starts talking to him about how he can't pass without a pass, how it's fixed by this and that, and how his babbling makes everyone's head hurt. It's a special magic that Jay cuts through with his sword. He is not going to reveal his identity, so the captain is forced to arrest the offender. However, the arrogant captain's magic is too weak for such a high-level cutlet as our J1, so he easily breaks the spell, which surprises everyone around him. The boy wants to bribe the captain like the girl did before. He gives the captain a spirit stone, and the captain recognizes the boy, saying that he has heard of him and calls him a gossipy messenger. All because the boy's soul is 1,000,000% pure. They are allowed inside the fortress. Here, the guy wants to break up with the girl because they are completely different, according to him. He is looking for a good blacksmith, but runs into bandits who want to take his money and weapons. However, he easily throws them away and shows who is stronger. Mina is still with him, and she wants to see Huang's other skills, but he only knows how to lunge. The girl takes him to the best blacksmith in the fortress. He is very busy, so his assistant advises him to buy ready-made ammunition and not to wait. At the same time, the workers try their strength and skills and try to work with the strong material, but they fail. Jay pierces the material with one swipe of his finger, causing it to shatter completely. The master is not satisfied with this rudeness, so he gives him a much more valuable and durable material, which could buy 10 of the ones he broke. Seeing what the warrior is capable of, the master allows him to work in their forge. J1 is going to forge something that I don't want to say, but let's just say that it's a thing to hide a sword in. Jay has never made such items before, so he asks the master to show him how to do it. The material he gets from the boy is too strong even for the assistant blacksmith. He only breaks his tools and cannot make a single scratch on the material. The boy realizes what he needs to do, and using the same tools as the master, he splits the strongest material in half. The boy reveals the essence of the blacksmith's skill, and the master is able to work with the material that the boy brought. So they made a hut for the insatiable sword of the ice dragon, and the boy went on his way. So to speak, he rolled on. Mina catches up with him, and the guy is not very happy about it. They talk about their next route. Huang tells him about his intention to climb higher and meet some horror, which makes the witch burn, and she starts to lower the boy. She is angry that Jay does not consider other creatures as people and looks down on everyone. He explains his position to her in a very complex and multifaceted way. She leaves and doesn't want to see him again. Mina comes to her friend's tavern, but she is being held hostage by some bandits. It turns out that the witch was supposed to come with the boyfriend. They had an agreement and she didn't fulfill it. Lysika was inspired by Huang's motivation and didn't want to get him involved. She decided to fight the bandits on her own. In the course of the battle, the witch casts her ultra towards the head of the bandit clan. The thief, in turn, breaks her spell with one swing of his sword, and it seems that this is the end for the redhead. He raises his sword over his head and is about to ban the girl. Huang enters the tavern and stops the thief from teaching the crime. The girl thinks that he came to save her. However, the guy came because the clothes she gave him are too small for him. The bandits were waiting for him, and because they are of the 4th level, they mock the boy and attack him. With his attack, Jay annihilates half of the tavern, which is seen by all the inhabitants of the fortress. The fortress guards, including the captain who let the boy through, also saw the pillar of energy. They immediately come to the tavern and Huang tells him about the bandits. The head of the bandits attacks the captain, but the latter's level is much higher than the old man's. The captain throws a chain at the bandit and immobilizes him. At the last moment, the old man sprays poison gas and escapes from justice. Jay and the vixen come out of the house full of smoke. The girl has many injuries and has inhaled gas. Huang sees the bandits joined by another big shot, and the warrior uses a new technique with his sword and makes a salad out of most of the bandits in 1 second. The big shot, with all his high-handedness and brutality, leaves the dangerous territory, leaving the old leader to the boy. However, Jay is in no hurry to deal with him. He gives him a chance to save his life. He needs to know where the terror is. The old man realizes that if he saves his life from the warrior and gives his patron saint, he will still pay for his betrayal later. Therefore, he eats a stone and begins to turn into a huge, even giant monster and begins to devour the life force of the inhabitants. As expected, Jae-hwan deals with him in one fell swoop, banning him forever. The boy goes in search of someone to tell him about the terror. But before that, he returns to the tavern and examines the captain and the witch. They are both in bad shape. The girl is rotting alive from her injuries, and she has little chance of survival. At this moment, the streets of the fortress are in chaos. Those people whose lives were sucked out by the monster turned into the dead and started attacking people, which is why the evacuation began. Back to the couple, a girl I know doesn't want to see the guy, because he has a terrible power. He always goes to his goal no matter what. It gives other people hope, but they are not as strong and brave as him, and that's what ruins them. Jay listened to the woman and went to see the captain, who is even worse off. He is about to become a dead man. He begs the soldiers to kill him so that he does not turn into a dangerous creature while he hesitates. The captain of the demonic extermination squad comes to the ward. According to the rules of the fortress, he is obliged to ban the light-skinned man before he has time to reincarnate.